Today, let's talk about setting your freelancer day rate. Because if you find yourself working more and more hours to meet your financial needs, it's time to reconsider your rate. I'm Raphael, and welcome to the channel. One of the most common questions I get asked about freelancing is how do you set your day rate properly? How do you know how much to charge? How do you know what's right? How do you know what's fair? Setting your day rate is actually quite easy. It's somewhere between what you're worth and what you need. What you're worth is based on your skill level, your knowledge, your expertise in any given field. What you need is the bare minimum to meet your financial needs. We will not talk about working for free, budgeting a project, or even freelancing. Those we're going to discuss in future videos. Today is strictly about charging appropriately for the work you do as a freelancer. If your experience and skill is high, you're in a great position to charge more for the work that you're doing. You are able to charge for what you're worth. Jump to this point in the video if you just want to learn how to set your day rate. A wrong approach is to take a salary you want and divide it by the amount of work days there are in any given year. For example, there's 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, that works out to 260 working days, and take an estimated salary of $50,000, that works out to almost $200 a day as your day rate. The math sounds good, but the thinking behind it is all wrong. If you start charging $200 a day as a freelancer and you hope to make $50,000, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble at the end of the year financially. This is one of the biggest missteps that a lot of freelancers make. They assume that that calculation will work out for them, but they don't take into account vacation days, sick days, any other time they will have in between projects. So the amount of actual billable days goes down from 260 to about 200 of actual billable days. So if you take a $200 day rate and multiply it by 200 actual billable days, you're only going to have $40,000. And that is before expenses and any taxes that you'll have to pay. And if we assume an average of 20% for taxes, that's $8,000. So now, at the end of the year, you'll only have $32,000. Yes, there's over 100 weekend days that you can work, but I would recommend avoiding that. I want you to be happy. I want you to do more than just do work. That's why setting your freelancer rate is so important. It's estimated that over the next 10 years, about 50% of the workforce is going to be freelancers. And one of the most exciting aspects about freelancing is being the master of your own schedule. Clients don't care if you work night, day, half and half, as long as you get the work done. And getting the work done is one of the best ways to build trust with clients. 90% of freelancing is building trust with your clients, letting them know that you'll get the work done. As a freelancer, you're going to spend a lot of time maintaining and promoting your own business, sometimes up to 14 to 20 extra hours a week. So you'll be working more than the average worker, and you're not going to be able to bill for that time. But it's crucial to maintaining your business. Employees that work for companies, they get a salary for the entire year, but the company covers a lot of their business expenses. The office, the internet, the computers, the software, anything that's associated with that company's business. As a freelancer, those are all your expenses, plus many more, including rent, telephone, gear, computers, office equipment, software services, subscriptions, insurance, benefits, advertising and marketing, business license fees, legal and accounting fees, and depending on what you can do, many more. These are the essential parts of being a freelancer that are not billable to any client, but it's essential work that you need to do to maintain your own business. So the method I'm going to show you is going to help you establish exactly what your day rate needs to be to help you meet all your financial goals, plus some. One of the first things you should do is find a company that has a similar position that you're trying to freelance for and see what their salary is. This will give you at least a good idea if you're in the ballpark to charge appropriately. But if you're fresh out of school or your experience is low in any given field, be realistic on what you can actually charge. Okay, let's jump into the computer and figure out your day rate. I created this document to help me determine my day rate. One of the first things you'll need to do is go in line by line and get every single month's expense plotted down. If you have rent, say it's $1,200 a month, your car is $300 payment, you go line by line adding every expense you have for every month. And definitely make sure you cover every single online service that you use. If you're using the Adobe suite, if you have any subscriptions, if you have Netflix, Disney Plus, Squarespace, or any of those online services, make sure you plot that money in here. You want to add in an estimated automatic savings that you want to put in, and miscellaneous is any unforeseen expenditures that you need to do every single month. And make sure you go through and add any line items that you want to add. Cover every single dollar where it's going. This will give you a good estimate on how much your monthly expenses are. So once that is done, you go into your loans and credit cards and figure out how much you owe for every single credit card and loan that you have. If you know the annual interest rate, that's fantastic. Plot it in here and it'll give you how much you have to pay in interest every single month outside of the regular payments. And go through line by line, just like the other section. If you have a student loan, if you have any car loans, if you have any leases on equipment, all this is here. And this gives you a rough tally of what your interest will be per month. So when you go back to your expenses, I've already put in a line item for interest payments. So this is interest alone that you need to put in every single month. So it automatically ups your monthly expenses. So then if we drop down the day rate, this will show you your monthly expenses, yearly expenses, and you can add in your total billable days of 200 here, and they'll give you the minimum day rate you'll need to cover just your expenses. So if you change this to 180, it'll show you that you need $312 to cover just your expenses. Let's keep this at 200. But this isn't enough to have any savings. So you have to add in at least 20% to give you your ideal day rate, which is $336. It'll also spit out an hourly rate as well right here. So if you're able to work 200 days at $336 per day, your salary before taxes will be $67,244. But knowing that we have to pay the taxman every year, you have to assume at least 20%. But if you know your tax rate where you're living, then you know out of the $67,000, you need to pay almost $13,500 in just personal taxes. So after taxes, you have $53,000. So after your expenses and your taxes, you'll have $9,000 of saved money. And this is on top of the automatic savings that you've put in for the year, which will be $2,400. This will give you a good ideal baseline to make sure you cover all your expenses and all your needs throughout the year. At any point, you can adjust this to get a higher rate. If you wanted to up it by 50% as your ideal rate, you can do that. So depending on your skill level and your expertise, you'll be able to charge more per day. If you scale this back to 180 days and you still charge appropriately, you know that you're covering all your expenses. 20% is just enough to cover this. So I would have this at 25 or 30% just as a starting point. But you can always up this to whatever you want to cover the needs based on your expertise. So as a top level view, based on the expenses that this person has, the ideal day rate would be almost $400 per day. The ideal salary will be about $70,000. This is a quick way to know if all your financial needs are being met. Now, all of this assumes that this is one person. So if you wanted to, you could divvy this up based on how many people you have in your family that are contributing to the expenses. So you can split this up. So this is the portion that you're contributing to every single month. And because I like to keep myself organized, I like to have all my clients, the income, the invoice income, and projected if I'm working on a project. I like to put all these in so I can track them really quickly on a high level. So I know how much is going to come in, and I know how much I have to put away for taxes, which is a tax rate of 20%. But if you know what your tax rate is, please adjust it. So I know how much I have after I put away for taxes. This is also a place where you can put in how much savings you have, how much investments you have, and how much you have to pay in taxes, and how much you'll have after all that. And the number that is the most important for me as a freelancer is knowing how many months of float, how many months that I can go without having work based on the income that I have and based on the expenses. If you have more than 3 months of expenditures saved up. This is a quick way to know if you're charging the right day rate to make sure you're covering all your financial needs. I'm going to make this file freely available as a download, also a Excel version of it. So this is the Mac version and an Excel version. You just plot in all your numbers exactly the same. Something else that I use often is online accounting. For my business, I use Freshbooks. It works really well for me. I've been using it for quite a while. You're able to link all your bank accounts and all your credit cards, and it tracks all your expenses for you. It helps you keep track of where your money is going and how much money you're bringing in. It helps to organize all the taxes that you need to pay. If you need to pay any sales tax on top of the personal tax that you're doing, it's all there. It works really well to keep yourself organized, able to send invoices. It's able to track when your clients pay, and it sends them reminders automatically. It's a really great tool. If you haven't started using something like this, make sure you go out and find one that works for you. FreshBooks is something that I use personally. There are many others. Find the right one for you. If you'd like me to do a review on FreshBooks and how it works for me, I can do that. Leave a comment down below. But a simple form like this will help you determine if you're charging enough as the day rate to make sure you're covering all your expenses. This was a long one, but I hope you have a clear idea on how to set your day rate. So here's the takeaway. I can guarantee you right now, most freelancers are not charging enough money. Let the client say no to you first. Don't offer them a cheaper rate just because you feel like you need to. And you'll quickly find out if you're charging too much based on your skill level or not. Don't underprice your freelancer rate, as it's more than just the work you're doing. You can always bring your price down to get the job. You can't bring it up to cover your expenses. You are providing your own gear, supplies, resources, your own training, software updates, and the place you're working from. Even with all that, you as a freelancer are probably still less than an employee is for that company. Know that this document is just to help you establish an estimate. You can always choose to work more or charge more. It is completely up to you. You are the master of your own schedule. You know how much you want to work and for how much. If you don't ask for your rate, no one's going to offer it to you. It really comes down to your experience. If you're charging too much for your experience, clients will go and find someone that has more experience to pay that higher rate. So you better be worth it if you're charging the higher end of the scale. Yes, there's a time and place to work for experience, but there's also equally a time and place to charge appropriately for your work. That's it. I hope this video helps you determine your day rate and charge for what you're worth and get more than you need. Share your thoughts in the comments on how you set your day rate. Have you run into any obstacles when clients ask for your day rate? Subscribe for more videos like this. In the future, I'll be talking about budgeting projects and when or if you should work for free. Thanks for watching. I'm Raphael. Give me a big thumbs up and fix it in camera and finesse it in post. Bye for now.